The 1970s was a pivotal decade for American automobiles, as manufacturers grappled with changing consumer demands, fuel crises, and the introduction of more stringent safety and emissions regulations. Amidst these challenges, one feature stood out in the minds of consumers: comfort. As people sought refuge from the hustle and bustle of daily life, automakers responded with vehicles that prioritized a soft, cushioned ride. Here we celebrate the top 9 softest, most cushioned American cars of the 1970s, highlighting their comfort features and luxurious experiences.
Dear viewer, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for your support.
Number 9, 1975 Chevrolet Malibu Classic. An interesting example of how General Motors prioritized comfort, even in a midsize car. By the mid-1970s, the Chevrolet Malibu had become one of GM's staple models, fitting right into the midsize segment. The classic trim was introduced as the highest level of the Malibu lineup, offering more upscale features than the base model. It was part of GM's Colonnade era, which began in 1973, characterized by pillarless, hardtop styling, heavier designs, and a focus on ride quality rather than performance. What made the 1975 Malibu Classic unique was that, despite its smaller footprint compared to GM's full-size cars like the Caprice or Impala, it still delivered a soft, cushioned ride. This was due to several factors. Suspension tuning. Chevrolet equipped the Malibu Classic with coil spring suspension at all 4 wheels. The front featured independent A-arms, while the rear had a 4-link setup, designed to soak up road imperfections. This gave the car a floating, almost pillow-like ride quality. Longer wheelbase and heavier build. Though categorized as a midsize car, the 1975 Malibu Classic wasn't exactly small. It rode on a 116-inch wheelbase, and the added length helped stabilize the ride, reducing harsh bumps and jolts. Plus, GM cars of this era were built with thick steel panels, which contributed to a sense of solidity and smoothness on the road. Soft steering and brakes. Another reason for the Malibu Classic's comfort was its over-assisted power steering and brakes. The steering was light, requiring little effort to turn, which made it easy to maneuver, but also gave it a somewhat disconnected feel from the road. The brakes, especially with the optional front disc setup, provided smooth stopping power, further adding to the relaxed driving experience. Interior comfort. Inside, the Malibu Classic was designed with plush bench seats, offering more of a living room feel than a sporty cockpit. Padded door panels, thick carpeting, and a quiet cabin thanks to GM's insulation techniques made for a peaceful ride. Of course, this soft ride came at a cost. The 1975 Malibu Classic wasn't exactly a performer. The base engine was a sluggish 250 cubic inch inline-6, with optional V8s like the 305, 350, or 400 cubic inches, providing more power but not much excitement. The car's weight, over 3,700 pounds, meant acceleration was leisurely, and fuel economy wasn't great, especially in the wake of new emissions regulations and the 1973 oil crisis. Despite that, for buyers who prioritize comfort over performance, the Malibu Classic was a solid choice. It was proof that GM could make even a mid-size car feel like a luxury cruiser. In hindsight, the 1975 Chevrolet Malibu Classic represented a transitional period in American car design, where comfort was still king, but increasing regulations and changing consumer demands were beginning to shift the landscape. While it wasn't a standout in terms of performance, it served its purpose well, delivering a smooth, effortless driving experience for those who valued comfort above all else. Number 8, 1978 Buick Riviera, a car that exemplified the personal luxury coupe trend of the 1970s. This was a vehicle designed not for speed or performance, but for effortless, long-distance cruising, offering a plush, well-insulated ride that catered to drivers who valued comfort above all else. By the late 1970s, the American auto industry was shifting towards downsizing, but personal luxury coupes like the Riviera remained focused on style and comfort. The Riviera had been Buick's top-tier coupe since 1963, competing with cars like the Cadillac Eldorado, Ford Thunderbird, and Chrysler Cordoba. while earlier Rivieras leaned more toward performance. By 1978, Buick had fully embraced the luxury side of the equation. One of the defining features of the 1978 Riviera was its well-insulated cabin, which was designed to keep road noise and vibrations to a minimum. Buick engineers achieved this in several ways. Extensive sound-deadening materials. The Riviera used thick insulation in the doors, roof, and floor, along with double-sealed weather stripping to prevent wind noise from entering the cabin. Soft suspension. Tuning. The car rode on a fully independent suspension with coil springs and softer shock absorbers tuned for comfort rather than handling. This allowed the Riviera to glide over uneven pavement, absorbing bumps effortlessly. Heavy body construction. Although it was slightly downsized from previous generations, the 1978 Riviera still had a substantial curb weight of around 4,200 pounds. This mass helped stabilize the ride and contributed to its solid planted feel on the highway. Power steering and brakes. The Riviera's over-assisted power steering required minimal effort, making it easy to maneuver, while its braking system, which included optional four-wheel discs, provided smooth stopping power without abruptness. The 1978 Riviera was built for the open road. Under the hood, buyers had a choice of V8 engines, including a 350 cubic inch 5.7-liter V8, producing around 150 horsepower, which was standard. An optional 403 cubic inch 6.6-liter V8, producing 240 horsepower, 185 horsepower, which provided more low-end torque for highway cruising. Paired with a 3-speed automatic transmission, the Riviera wasn't built for acceleration, but rather for effortless, relaxed highway driving. With its long wheelbase and soft ride, it was the kind of car that allowed drivers to cover hundreds of miles without feeling fatigued. By 1978, fuel efficiency was becoming a concern due to rising gas prices, and large personal luxury coupes like the Riviera were starting to feel outdated. However, Buick still found a strong customer base for the Riviera, people who wanted a comfortable, stylish, and smooth-riding coupe that prioritized isolation from the road rather than engagement with it. The 1978 Buick Riviera was a prime example of 1970s American luxury, built for those who valued comfort, quietness, and effortless cruising. It may not have been the sportiest or most fuel-efficient car of its time, but for long-distance travel and style, few cars did it better. Number 7, 1979, Chevrolet Nova Custom, a car that proved even compact Chevrolets of the late 1970s were designed with ride comfort in mind. While this was the smallest car on our list, it still featured a soft suspension, making it more of a smooth cruiser than a nimble, sporty compact. By 1979, the Chevrolet Nova was in its 4th generation, which had debuted in 1975. The Nova had originally been introduced in the 1960s as a practical and affordable compact car, but by the late 70s, it had grown larger and heavier. The Nova was marketed as a budget-friendly option, but still adhered to General Motors' traditional philosophy of prioritizing comfort over performance, even in the compact segment. The custom trim level was an upgrade from the base model, offering additional features like better interior materials, more chrome trim, and optional V8 engines. However, despite being a compact car, the Nova still retained many of the soft riding characteristics seen in larger Chevys of the time. One of the defining traits of the 1979 Nova Custom was its plush ride quality, which set it apart from some of the firmer handling imports that were beginning to gain popularity in the US. Here's why. Soft coil spring suspension. The Nova used a traditional front coil spring and rear leaf spring suspension, designed more for absorbing bumps than for tight handling. It soaked up road imperfections well, but resulted in a floaty, disconnected feel at higher speeds. Over-boosted power steering. Like many GM cars of this era, the Nova had light, over-assisted steering, which made for easy maneuverability at low speeds, but lacked precision and road feedback. This reinforced the feeling of a soft, relaxed driving experience. Longer wheelbase for stability. While it was technically a compact car, the Nova's 111-inch wheelbase was quite long by modern standards. This helped create a stable, comfortable ride, especially on the highway, where the Nova felt more substantial than its smaller imported competitors. Heavier than expected, the Nova wasn't exactly lightweight, tipping the scales at around 3,300 pounds, depending on the engine and options. This extra mass contributed to its smooth ride, but also dulled acceleration and fuel efficiency. The 1979 Nova Custom came with a variety of engine choices, but none were particularly sporty. 250 cubic inch 4.1-liter inline-six. The base engine, producing 90 to 105 horsepower, was slow but smooth. 305 cubic inch 5.0 liters. V8. With around 130 horsepower, it offered slightly better performance, but was still tuned for relaxed driving. 350 cubic inch 5.7 liters. V8. This was optional, producing around 170 horsepower, but emissions restrictions had taken a toll on power output. All engines were paired with either a 3-speed automatic transmission or a 4-speed manual, but the vast majority were equipped with the automatic, reinforcing the Nova's comfort-oriented nature. By the late 1970s, fuel efficiency was becoming a major concern due to rising gas prices, and the Nova was losing ground to smaller, more efficient cars like the Chevrolet Chevette, Ford Pinto, and various Japanese imports. The Nova still had an audience, mostly older drivers or budget-conscious buyers looking for a simple, reliable car, but it was starting to feel outdated compared to newer, more efficient competitors. The 1979 Chevrolet Nova Custom may have been a compact car by GM standards, but it still carried the company's tradition of soft suspensions and comfort-focused driving dynamics. While it wasn't fast, efficient, or particularly well-handling, it provided a smooth, easygoing ride that made it feel more like a scaled-down full-size sedan than a true sporty compact. Number 6, 1977 Pontiac Grand Safari Wagon. This was one of the largest wagons on the market at the time, and while it wasn't the most efficient vehicle, it excelled in ride comfort, road trip practicality, and sheer size. If you wanted a car that could glide over the highway while carrying the entire family and half the neighborhood, this was it. By the late 1970s, full-size station wagons were the go-to choice for families before minivans and SUVs took over. The Pontiac Grand Safari was Pontiac's top-tier wagon, built on the same platform as the Chevrolet Caprice estate and the Oldsmobile Custom Cruiser. It was a body-on-frame land yacht, prioritizing comfort, space, and luxury features over sportiness or efficiency. The 1977 model was notable because it was downsized from previous years, but make no mistake, it was still massive. The previous generation had an outrageous 5,200-pound curb weight, while the 1977 version was trimmed down to around 4,500 pounds and measured nearly 19 feet long. Despite this slight reduction in size, the Grand Safari was still a dominant presence on the road. One of the standout qualities of the Grand Safari was its ride comfort. Pontiac engineered this wagon to effortlessly absorb road imperfections, making it one of the best road trip vehicles of its time. Several key features contributed to its smooth ride. Soft coil spring suspension. The car had a long wheelbase, 115.9 inches, and a fully independent coil spring suspension designed to soak up bumps and cracks in the road without disturbing passengers. The rear suspension also had load leveling options, which helped when carrying heavy cargo. Massive curb weight and long wheelbase. At nearly 2.5 tons, the Grand Safari had the sheer mass to keep it stable on the road. The longer the wheelbase, the smoother the ride, and the Grand Safari had one of the longest in the industry. Overboosted power steering. Like most full-size cars of the 1970s, the Grand Safari had power-assisted steering that was extremely light, making it effortless to maneuver despite its size. This made low-speed turns and parking easier, even if it lacked precision at higher speeds. Sound insulation and luxury touches. Pontiac ensured that road noise was kept to a minimum by adding extra insulation in the doors and under the floor. The interior had plush seating, thick carpeting, and high-quality vinyl or optional leather, making it feel like a living room on wheels. The Grand Safari had a selection of large V8 engines, but due to emissions regulations and fuel economy concerns, power output was lower than previous years. 301 cubic inch 4.9-liter V8 135 horsepower base engine underpowered for such a large car. 403 cubic inch 6.6-liter V8 185 horsepower, a better option for highway cruising. Oldsmobile 455 cubic inch 7.5-liter V8, available in earlier models but phased out by 1977. All engines were paired with a 3-speed automatic transmission, and while acceleration was sluggish, the Grand Safari was built for effortless highway cruising, not drag racing. Why was the 1977 Pontiac Grand Safari perfect for long road trips? Seating for up to 9 people. With front and rear bench seats and an optional rear-facing third-row seat, this wagon could transport an entire family in comfort. Massive cargo space. The rear cargo area could be expanded significantly when the third-row seat was folded down, making it great for luggage, camping gear, or even a mattress for sleeping on road trips. Clamshell tailgate, previous model years. While the famous power-operated clamshell tailgate was discontinued in 1977, earlier versions of the Grand Safari had this unique feature, allowing easy access to the cargo area. The 1977 Pontiac Grand Safari wagon was a prime example of 1970s American luxury in excess, offering a supremely comfortable ride, vast interior space, and a quiet highway cruising experience. While rising fuel prices and the shift towards smaller, more efficient vehicles led to the decline of these massive wagons, the Grand Safari remains an iconic symbol of a time when bigger was better, and road trips were all about the journey, not just the destination. Number 5, 1973 Chevrolet Caprice estate wagon, a massive family hauler that embodied the peak of 1970s American station wagon design. This was a car built for comfort, a rolling living room with a soft, floaty suspension, a whisper-quiet ride, and enough space to carry an entire family and all their luggage. If you wanted a car that made long road trips effortless, the Caprice estate wagon was one of the best options GM had to offer. In the 1970s, full-size station wagons were the SUVs of their time, serving as the go-to choice for large families. The Caprice estate wagon was Chevrolet's top-of-the-line wagon, based on the full-size Caprice sedan. It shared a platform with the Impala, but had more luxury features and a massive rear cargo area. The 1973 model was part of the third generation of Chevrolet's full-size wagons, introduced in 1971. These wagons were bigger, heavier, and more refined than their predecessors, designed for long-distance cruising with minimal driver effort. One of the most distinctive features of the 1973 Caprice estate wagon was its incredibly soft suspension, which made it feel like floating on a cloud rather than driving on pavement. Several factors contributed to this ultra-smooth ride. Long wheelbase for stability. With a wheelbase of 125 inches, the Caprice estate had plenty of room to absorb road imperfections, making it glide over bumps with ease. Coil spring suspension. Unlike some competitors that used leaf springs in the rear, the Caprice had coil springs all around, which provided a softer, more cushioned ride. Overboosted power steering. The steering was light and effortless, making this nearly 5,000-pound vehicle surprisingly easy to maneuver at low speeds. However, it also meant the car felt disconnected from the road at higher speeds. Heavy sound insulation. Chevrolet used extra-thick insulation and soft interior materials to reduce road noise, making the cabin feel even more isolated from the outside world. By 1973, emissions regulations and fuel economy concerns were already beginning to affect engine performance. However, the Caprice estate wagon was still equipped with big block V8s designed for smooth, effortless cruising rather than outright speed. 400 cubic inch, 6.6-liter V8, the standard engine, producing around 150 to 175 horsepower. 454 cubic inch, 7.4-liter V8, the most powerful option, rated at 245 horsepower, but tuned for torque rather than acceleration. Both engines were paired with a turbo-hydromatic 403-speed automatic transmission, which was designed for smooth shifts and minimal driver effort. The Caprice estate wagon wasn't just about comfort, it was also one of the most practical vehicles of its time, offering features that made it ideal for families and road trips. Rear-facing third-row seat. With the optional third-row seat, the wagon could carry up to 9 passengers comfortably. Clamshell tailgate. One of its most unique features was the power-operated clamshell tailgate, which retracted into the body and allowed easy loading of cargo, a feature not seen in modern SUVs. Huge cargo space. With the seats folded, the rear cargo area was big enough to carry furniture, bicycles, or even a mattress for sleeping on long trips. Despite its strengths, the Caprice estate wagon and its competitors soon fell out of favor due to the oil crisis of the 1970s, which made large, fuel-hungry V8 wagons less practical. By the 1980s, full-size wagons were being replaced by minivans and later SUVs, signaling the end of an era. The 1973 Chevrolet Caprice estate wagon was one of the best examples of 1970s American luxury and comfort, offering a supremely soft ride, massive interior space, and a smooth, effortless driving experience. It was a car built for families who valued comfort over fuel economy, and while it may seem excessive today, it remains a nostalgic symbol of a time when bigger was always better. Number 4. 1976 Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme Brougham. This car wasn't about speed or performance. It was about comfort, prestige, and an ultra-smooth ride. With its velvety suspension, plush interior, and unmistakable styling, the Cutlass Supreme Brougham perfectly embodied what American automakers thought buyers wanted in a luxury coupe. By the mid-1970s, Oldsmobile was at its peak. The Cutlass lineup was one of the best-selling nameplates in the country, and the Supreme Brougham was the most luxurious version available. It was aimed at buyers who wanted a car that looked upscale and felt expensive, but didn't cost as much as a Cadillac Eldorado or Lincoln Continental. The Brougham trim was the highest level of the Cutlass Supreme, adding even more plush materials, chrome accents, and comfort-focused engineering to the already well-equipped Cutlass Supreme. One of the biggest selling points of the 1976 Cutlass Supreme Brougham was its pillowy suspension, which made driving feel effortless. The car was tuned for maximum comfort, and its ride quality came from several key factors. Soft coil spring suspension. Unlike European cars, which emphasized handling, the Cutlass Supreme Brougham had a suspension designed to absorb every bump and pothole, creating a floaty, almost cloud-like driving experience. Long wheelbase. At 116 inches, the car had enough length to soak up imperfections in the road, making for a smoother ride. Overboosted power steering. Like many American luxury cars of the time, the Cutlass Supreme had light, effortless steering, which made maneuvering easy but resulted in very little road feel. Heavy sound insulation. Oldsmobile packed the cabin with thick padding and insulation, ensuring that road and wind noise were virtually non-existent. This made the driving experience feel even more refined. Though the 1976 Cutlass Supreme Brougham wasn't built for speed, it still had big, torquey V8 engines that provided smooth acceleration. The engine options included Rocket 350 V8-5.7L, the standard engine, producing around 170 horsepower, designed for relaxed cruising. Rocket 455 V8-7.5L, the optional big block, making around 190 horsepower, offering more torque for highway driving, but still focused on smoothness rather than performance. Both engines were paired with GM's turbo-hydromatic 3-speed automatic transmission, which was known for its seamless gear shifts and durability. This setup ensured that the Cutlass Supreme Brougham accelerated gently and effortlessly, reinforcing its reputation as a true luxury coupe. Inside, the Cutlass Supreme Brougham was all about comfort and elegance. The seats were thickly padded with velour or tufted leather, resembling a living room sofa more than a car seat. Other features included simulated wood trim, giving the dashboard an upscale appearance, deep pile carpeting, adding to the luxurious feel underfoot. Optional swivel bucket seats, a unique feature that made getting in and out of the car easier. Padded vinyl roof, a signature look for personal luxury cars of the era. By the late 1970s, rising fuel prices and changing consumer preferences began to impact the popularity of large soft-riding coupes. While the Cutlass Supreme nameplate continued, later models became smaller and more efficient. The 1976 Supreme Brougham was one of the last true examples of the over-the-top, comfort-focused personal luxury coupes that defined the 1970s. The 1976 Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme Brougham was a status symbol, a comfortable cruiser, and one of the most luxurious mid-size coupes of its time. With its smooth ride, elegant interior, and effortless driving experience, it captured the essence of 1970s American luxury. While the world eventually moved on to more fuel-efficient and practical vehicles, the Cutlass Supreme Brougham remains a beloved classic, representing an era when comfort and style mattered more than anything else. Number 3, 1978 Cadillac Seville, a model that marked a significant evolution in Cadillac's approach to luxury. The Seville was introduced as a response to changing market demands, aiming to provide the classic Cadillac experience in a slightly smaller, more manageable package. Despite its compact size compared to other Cadillacs of the time, the 1978 Seville retained all the luxury, comfort, and signature soft ride that Cadillac was known for. The Cadillac Seville debuted in 1976 as a 1977 model, but by 1978, it had already established itself as a key player in the luxury sedan market. Designed by Bill Mitchell, the Seville combined elements of European styling with traditional American luxury. Cadillac aimed to attract a new generation of buyers who wanted a vehicle that was both elegant and practical for urban environments. The 1978 Seville was built on the E-body platform, making it significantly smaller than the full-size Cadillacs of the era. Measuring about 200 inches in length, it was more compact, making it easier to maneuver in city driving conditions. This new size did not come at the cost of style. The Seville featured distinctive styling, a long hood, short deck, and a sculpted body that gave it an elegant silhouette. European influence. With elements like flush-mounted windows and a sleek roofline, the Seville looked more modern than many of its contemporaries. Luxury details, chrome accents, a prominent grille, and designer wheels all contributed to its upscale appearance. One of the hallmarks of the Cadillac brand has always been its exceptional ride quality, and the 1978 Seville was no exception. Cadillac's engineers designed the Seville with several features to ensure a luxurious driving experience. Advanced suspension system. The Seville employed a McPherson strut front suspension and a multi-link rear suspension, which worked together to provide a smooth, comfortable ride over various road surfaces. Soft ride characteristics. The suspension tuning was designed to absorb bumps and imperfections, giving drivers and passengers the feeling of gliding over the road rather than being jostled by it. Sound insulation. Extensive sound deadening materials kept road noise to a minimum, further enhancing the serene atmosphere inside the cabin. The 1978 Cadillac Seville was equipped with powertrain options designed for both performance and efficiency, striking a balance between the two. The standard engine was 5.7-liter, 350 cubic inch, 5V8. This engine produced around 180 horsepower and was paired with a turbo-hydromatic 3-speed automatic transmission. This setup allowed for smooth acceleration while maintaining decent fuel economy for a luxury vehicle of its size. Cadillac also offered the optional 6.0-liter, 368 cubic inch V8, which provided a bit more power and torque, enhancing the driving experience while still adhering to Cadillac's smooth ride philosophy. The interior of the 1978 Seville was a showcase of Cadillac's commitment to luxury. Stepping inside felt like entering a well-appointed retreat, with features including plush seating, upholstered in high-quality leather or velour. The seats were designed for maximum comfort, featuring generous padding and support. Rich wood accents. Real wood trim adorned the dashboard and door panels, giving the interior a sophisticated and upscale feel. High-tech amenities. Cadillac was known for introducing advanced features, and the Seville included options like power windows, cruise control, and an optional premium sound system, which elevated the driving experience. Customizable options. Buyers could choose from a range of options to personalize their vehicle, from different upholstery choices to upgraded sound systems and climate controls. The introduction of the Cadillac Seville was significant, as it helped to redefine the luxury market. It catered to buyers looking for the prestige of owning a Cadillac without the size and bulk of the full-size models. The Seville's success paved the way for future compact luxury sedans and represented a shift in consumer preferences towards smaller, more efficient vehicles. While the Seville's production continued through the 1980s, the 1978 model remains a standout for its combination of luxury, performance, and practicality. It perfectly captured the essence of what a Cadillac should be: an elegant, comfortable vehicle that offered a refined driving experience. In conclusion, the 1978 Cadillac Seville exemplified a new direction for Cadillac, blending classic luxury with a more manageable size. It retained the brand's signature soft ride and opulence, offering drivers and passengers an exceptional experience. Number 2, 1970 Mercury Marquis Brougham. This vehicle epitomizes American automotive design during an era when comfort and style were paramount. As a flagship model for Mercury, the Marquis Brougham offered a plush interior and a soft ride, making it ideal for long-distance cruising. The Mercury Marquis nameplate has a rich history dating back to the 1960s, and by 1970 it had evolved into a symbol of luxury within the Mercury lineup. The Brougham trim represented the pinnacle of this model, emphasizing opulence and comfort for discerning buyers. The Marquis Brougham was not just a car, it was an experience designed to envelop passengers in a world of luxury. The 1970 Mercury Marquis Brougham showcased the bold styling trends of the early 1970s. Imposing dimensions. Measuring approximately 222 inches in length, the Marquis was a substantial full-size sedan that commanded attention on the road. Its size contributed to its road presence, making it a true luxury vehicle. Classic lines. The Marquis featured a long hood and a short rear deck, a design characteristic that emphasized elegance and sophistication. Its body was adorned with chrome accents and decorative elements that highlighted its luxurious nature. Distinctive grille. The front grille was prominent and stylish, flanked by sweeping headlights that added to its upscale appearance. At the heart of the 1970 Mercury Marquis, Brougham's appeal was its suspension system, meticulously designed for maximum comfort. Soft ride quality. The Marquis utilized a coil spring front suspension and a leaf spring rear suspension, allowing it to absorb bumps and road imperfections gracefully. The result was a ride that felt almost floaty, making it ideal for long drives on the highway. Hydraulic engine mounts. These mounts further enhanced the smoothness of the ride by reducing engine vibrations felt in the cabin. This feature added to the luxurious feel of the Marquis, allowing for a serene driving experience. Pillow-soft seats. The seats were generously padded, designed to cradle passengers during long journeys. With ample legroom and support, the Marquis Brougham prioritized passenger comfort above all else. Powertrain options. Under the hood, the 1970 Marquis Brougham offered robust engine choices that complemented its luxury persona. Standard 429 cubic inch V8 engine. This engine produced around 360 horsepower, providing plenty of power for smooth acceleration. It delivered a refined driving experience that matched the luxurious nature of the vehicle. Optional 460 cubic inch V8 engine. For those seeking even more power, the optional engine offered additional torque, making highway cruising effortless. This engine was well suited for the Marquis' long-distance capabilities. Both engines were paired with a Cruise-O-Matic automatic transmission, known for its smooth shifting and reliability, further enhancing the driving experience. Plush upholstery. Buyers could choose from rich fabrics or high-quality leather, ensuring a comfortable and luxurious environment. The seating was designed for maximum comfort, ideal for long drives. High-end amenities. The Marquis Brougham was equipped with power windows, power locks, and an optional AM/FM stereo radio, allowing for a high-tech experience for its time. Customizable options. Buyers had the choice of various interior trims and colors, allowing them to personalize their vehicles to their tastes. The attention to detail was evident, with wood grain accents and plush carpeting throughout. The 1970 Mercury Marquis Brougham was a testament to the full-size luxury sedan market in America during the early 1970s. It catered to an audience seeking comfort and prestige, combining elegance with a plush driving experience. While it competed with other luxury models like the Cadillac Seville and Lincoln Continental, the Marquis Brougham carved out its niche by offering a distinctive blend of luxury and accessibility. As fuel prices rose and consumer preferences shifted in the late 1970s, full-size sedans like the Marquis faced challenges. However, the 1970 Marquis Brougham remains a cherished classic, representing a bygone era when cars were designed with comfort and luxury as top priorities. In conclusion, the 1970 Mercury Marquis Brougham was a remarkable vehicle that encapsulated the essence of luxury motoring. Its plush ride, spacious interior, and elegant design made it a standout in the full-size sedan segment. As we reflect on this car today, we celebrate not only its engineering and design, but also its role in shaping the luxury automobile market. Number 1, 1972 Chevrolet Bel Air, a quintessential American full-size sedan that epitomized the blend of affordability and comfort during a transformative time in the automotive industry. As a part of Chevrolet's lineup, the Bel Air offered a spacious interior and a smooth ride, while remaining budget-friendly for families and individuals alike. The Chevrolet Bel Air has a storied legacy, originally introduced in the 1950s as a stylish and upscale model. By the early 1970s, the automotive landscape was changing, with consumers increasingly seeking vehicles that provided both value and comfort. The 1972 Bel Air was positioned as an accessible full-size sedan, catering to a market that appreciated roominess and ride quality without the premium price tag typically associated with luxury vehicles. The 1972 Bel Air retained classic full-size sedan characteristics, combining practicality with style. Classic dimensions. The Bel Air measured approximately 207 inches in length, making it a substantial vehicle that provided ample space for passengers and cargo. Simple yet elegant styling. The design featured a long hood and a broad stance, giving it a confident road presence. While not overly flashy, the Bel Air's lines were clean and understated, appealing to buyers looking for a practical vehicle. Distinctive grille and taillights. The front grille was wide with horizontal slats that emphasized its width, while the rear featured large rectangular taillights that added to its classic American aesthetic. One of the standout features of the 1972 Chevrolet Bel Air was its commitment to providing a smooth and quiet ride. Comfortable suspension. The Bel Air utilized a coil spring front suspension and a multi-leaf rear suspension, which worked in tandem to absorb road imperfections. This setup delivered a ride that felt cushioned and serene, even over bumpy roads. Quiet cabin. Chevrolet engineers paid careful attention to sound insulation, ensuring that road noise was kept to a minimum. This focus on quietness made the Bel Air a pleasant vehicle for long drives, enhancing the overall driving experience. Spacious interior. The Bel Air offered generous interior dimensions, with ample legroom and headroom for passengers. The rear seats could comfortably accommodate 3 adults, making it an ideal choice for families. The 1972 Bel Air provided a range of engine options, allowing buyers to choose the powertrain that best suited their needs. Standard 250 cubic inch inline-6 engine. This engine produced around 105 horsepower, offering a balance of efficiency and adequate power for daily driving. It was perfect for budget-conscious buyers who prioritize fuel economy. Optional 307 CID V8 engine. For those seeking more performance, the optional V8 engine produced approximately 200 horsepower, delivering smooth acceleration and highway capability without sacrificing too much in terms of fuel efficiency. Transmission choices. The Bel Air was equipped with a 3-speed automatic transmission as standard, with the option for a 4-speed manual for those who preferred a more engaging driving experience. One of the defining features of the 1972 Chevrolet Bel Air was its affordability. As a full-size sedan, it offered a competitive price point compared to other vehicles in its class. This affordability made it a popular choice among families and first-time car buyers. Cost-effective ownership. The Bel Air's straightforward engineering meant lower maintenance costs, and its solid construction provided durability. This value proposition resonated with consumers looking for a reliable vehicle that wouldn't break the bank. Resale value. Even as a budget-friendly option, the Bel Air maintained a respectable resale value, making it an attractive long-term investment for buyers. The 1972 Chevrolet Bel Air holds a significant place in the history of American automobiles. In a time when the market was shifting towards smaller, more fuel-efficient cars due to rising fuel prices and changing consumer preferences, the Bel Air managed to carve out a niche as a practical yet comfortable option. Although production of the Bel Air would eventually end in the late 1970s, its reputation for value and reliability remained intact. Today, it is fondly remembered by classic car enthusiasts as a symbol of the American automotive experience, reflecting an era when full-size sedans were the norm and comfort was a priority. In conclusion, the 1972 Chevrolet Bel Air exemplified the balance of affordability and comfort in a full-size sedan. With its spacious interior, smooth ride, and budget-friendly price, it appealed to a wide range of consumers looking for a reliable family vehicle.